Hey guys, Robert Foley, Real Estate Knowledge Institute. I'm the co-founder of the company, and my main role here is Director of Education. I spend a lot of time with the new students and people that are just starting off in the business. And I found the biggest struggle that people have when starting is that they don't know what they don't know. So I've developed this assessment process where I kind of go through, figure out, really it's a breakdown of the entire process of creating and running a real estate business and investment business. And I think the most powerful piece in here is you can identify the areas that are holding you back. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go through a knowledge assessment. I use this when any new student starts up here. It doesn't matter if you've been investing for 20 years, if you've been investing for 2 years, or you've never done it before. We're going to figure out areas that we can improve on, or we're going to figure out areas that we need to learn that we may not already know. So I guess the best way to look at it, think of it like baking a cake, right? If we have all the ingredients and the right order, then it should come out the same every single time. The most important thing is when we cover this information, it's something we need to master. And when we have this mastered, we're able to eliminate pretty much any risk within this business. I think that's the most important part. Eliminate your risk. There's 5 elements or 5 areas of study, if you want to call it that. Niche market analysis, network or crew, valuation process, funding options, and then long-term market strategies. So let's kind of go through them one at a time. Number 1, niche market analysis. This is probably the most neglected part of a business plan that I see with people. A lot of people don't even know they need to do it. What the goal behind analyzing the market is to find a handful of things. Where am I going to invest? What types of property am I going to invest in? And what is the performance of my overall market? I'll use myself as an example. Downtown Central Phoenix Historic District is a great market for investing here in Phoenix. Obviously, it's not for everybody, but in that specific market, very fast turn times, foreclosure ratios are high. We know the market is balanced and that it's not an issue in finding property and it won't be an issue in turning them. You go 3 miles south of there, 5 miles south, you're in more of South Phoenix. And in that market, you'll notice the turn times are a lot slower. So a lot of investors, all they look at is just the numbers. How much can I get it for? What's it going to cost me? And how much can I sell it for? And if that's the only things that we're looking at, what happens in a lot of cases is that we find out we get into a property where it's in a market that's not performing. So before we step out to actually start our business, let's identify where within our market are we going to focus. This is the actual foundation to your entire plan. You're going to build everything around your targeted market. Next, we're going to discuss is your network. Obviously, we need to have a team. We need to have people around us that can help us with the business. But it's understanding how to create a proper network and understanding how to interview effectively, how to hire effectively if we're going to be using, workers, that kind of stuff. And then obviously knowing who to work with that's going to help us reach our goals, right? Remember, you're building your business. So we need to build it specific to what our goals are. One of the things I think within creating a network is finding, a good realtor. Now, not picking on anybody, but I think, sometimes we're trying to get the job, right? It's like a resume. They're not always exactly what we know. Sometimes they're a little fluffed. We want to make sure that we can interview effectively. Now, there's a few things we look for. One, obviously that the realtor is a full-time realtor. They're not doing this on the side. They've got to be able to hunt these properties, find these properties, make these offers, put the work in. And if they're not doing it full-time, we're limited because they're limited. Next thing is, obviously contractors. I think one of the key pieces to building an evaluation process, what we're going to get to next, is knowing, well, what is my actual cost? How much is a roof? How much is a roofer's wages? State by state, that can be very different. Market by market, that can be different. But what a lot of people end up doing is they get rough round numbers without a real understanding of what their cost is going to be. And that's just from poor planning. Valuations. Single biggest reason people lose money in this business. One of the biggest problems that I see with people, a lot of people come to me under the assumption the best way to figure out what the house is going to sell for is to ask the realtor. And the best way to figure out what the cost is going to be is to ask the contractor. You have to consider that this is the most volatile part of your business. Is the numbers, is the cost, does this deal make sense or not? If the realtor is an example, and I'm not challenging integrity and saying that they're going to try to fluff numbers, but what if they do? What if they accidentally do? What if they're looking at comps and say, these are the 3 best, I'm going to try to sell it for this much, but as our market performance indicates, we might have to list it for 2 or 3% below market value. That's the purpose behind that niche. So we need to be controlling what we're going to sell it for, so that we know when we walk into the property what our exit's going to be. So relying on other people's numbers, and especially people that aren't invested, they're not invested in your success. So you need to tighten up your numbers. And it's the safest way to invest is to learn how to evaluate. Now, if you learn an evaluation process effectively, the goal would be that you walk this property, you put in your offer, you sign your contract if possible, but you already know what you're going to sell it for to the number. You already know what the rehab is going to cost. You know the total number of hours that should be going into this project, or at least time frames. And you should be able to look at this project and say, I know what I'm going to make. I know how long it's going to take. Does this meet my business plan? Does this meet my goals? So, evaluation process. If you don't have it, stop what you're doing and maybe evaluate yourself. Do I need help? I did. I need a lot of help. But I'm to the other side of it. Everybody, we've all started there. We were all there once, right? And some of us make it and some of us don't. And a big part of it is, what do I learn before I start? So, funding, the holy grail. This is probably where I get the most phone calls. I would say the majority of people call, I just need funding. All I need is funding. All I need is lending. Let's break that down for a minute. How do lenders make money? They lend it. If they don't lend money, they're not making money. So I'm fairly confident that if you go to a lender, or someone goes to a lender and the lender's not comfortable lending them money, it's not because they stopped liking money. They want to run their business. They're not shutting the doors. What they want to do is find a way that they can invest risk-free as well. It's all risk levels. It is for you, it is for them. So if you approach them with a project and the numbers aren't accurate, or it shows through your process that maybe you're not going to be able to handle it, or you're uneducated, or you're brand new, and there's so many things that create risk within a project that they're looking for that. So, and I've seen people do this. I can't get funding, so I'm going to go refinance my home. I can't seem to get a lender, so I'm going to go get a self-directed IRA. If they're telling you no, it's a good thing. With funding, bottom line is this: lenders want to lend to you. They really, really do. They have people sitting in their desk selling loan programs. They're calling outbound, trying to find qualified borrowers. If you're struggling with funding, call me. It's not the lender. There's something off. They just find there's a risk level they're not comfortable with. We can identify that through this process. So, market strategies, market conditions. Another one that's really neglected. Let's go backwards, right? 2008. Did everybody lose their shirt? Nope. About 15% of people made it. Based on, and this is a statistic I can't cite where it came from, but I had heard that roughly 85% of investors, somewhere in there, went out of business in 2008. I could see why, but not everybody. There are those of us that take time to understand market cycles, learn how these market conditions work, and know how to position themselves or maybe anticipate these changes so they're prepared, right? I said it earlier, I'll say it again. There's no such thing as a bad time to invest in real estate. There's only bad strategies. So for a lot of people, 2008 was the best year of their investing lives. You have to think of it. If they were financially prepared, maybe they spent that inflation period building wealth, and then in anticipation of the market cycle change, what do? Well, they pull back, slow down. When the market adjusts, you can go in and now buy properties. And I mean, in Phoenix, you're talking 20 cents on the dollar. I mean, realistically though, the market will always go through these cycles. When a market enters an inflation period, the only thing that it can do is adjust at some point. Basically, if the average median income can no longer afford the average median home, things have to change. So I'll leave you guys with this. This is the assessment. I know we ran through it pretty quickly, but I think it's just important we understand these are the pieces. These are the ingredients to that cake we talked about. If you learn these ingredients, right? Pop open the cookbook, follow instructions, learn the ingredients, learn the order, learn the timing, learn how to do things correctly, and you should have the same results every single time. Plan your business long term. That's all I can say. What I recommend is this: pick your phone up today, right now. We are recruiting, we are bringing people in. Right now, pick your phone up, call me personally, Robert Foley. My direct line is 480-771-3925. That goes directly to my desk. Pick your phone up, call me right now. Guess what? If 50 of you guys are on the phone with me, you're going to reach Carrie. And Carrie is going to get you scheduled. And we're going to sit down and have a time we can talk. I have a big team of guys that can walk you through this assessment. But what I want to make sure is that I have an opportunity to talk to each and every one of you. Pick your phone up and call me. We'll go through the process of your knowledge, and then we will sit down and talk about how you guys are going to get there. But I can't help you if you don't call. Take care, guys.